Jutland, in this great fight to which you go, because where honour calls you, go you must. Be glad, whatever comes, at least to know you have your quarrel just. Peace was your care. Before the nation's bar, her cause you pleaded, and her ends you sought. But not for her sake, being what you are, could you be bribed and bought. Others may spurn the pledge of land to land, may with the brute sword stain a gallant past, but by the seal to which you set your hand, thank God, you still stand fast. Forth, then, to front the peril of the deep, with smiling lips, and in your eyes the light, steadfast and confident, of those who keep their storied scutcheon bright. And we, whose burden is to watch and wait, high-hearted ever, strong in faith and prayer, we ask what offering we may consecrate, what humble service share. To steel our souls against the lust of ease, to find our welfare in the common good, to hold together, merging all degrees in one wide brotherhood. To teach that he who saves himself is lost, to bear in silence though our hearts may bleed, to spend ourselves and never count the cost for others' greater need. To go our quiet ways, subdued and sane, to hush all vulgar clamour of the street, with level calm to face alike the strain of triumph or defeat. This be our part, for so we serve you best, so best confirm their prowess and their pride, your warrior sons, to whom in this high test our fortunes we confide.
Shaken from sleep and numbed and scarce awake, out in the trench with 3 hours watch to take, I blunder through the splashing murk, and then hear the gruff muttering voices of the men crouching in cabins, candle chinked with light. Hark! There's the big bombardment on our right, rumbling and bumping, and the dark glare of flickering horror in the sectors where we raid the Boche. Men waiting, stiff and chilled, or crawling on their bellies through the wire. What? Stretcher bearer wanted? Someone killed? 5 minutes ago I heard a sniper fire. Why did he do it? Starlight overhead, blank stars. I'm wide awake, and some chap's dead.
How was it as you crouched to write your letter home? Dear Mum and Dad, it's quiet here tonight. Yet all the while your page illuminated by harsh light from flares and mortar fire. Were you waiting for the whistle call to climb the ladder and go dancing in the mud with all the keen intensity from when you were a boy, now hemmed with fear and questions, whose only answers were the darkness and the death? What picture did you paint for parents back at home, knowing the censor would take his pound of flesh? Did you sketch tranquility for them? Did you believe the picture that you drew? And was it this that gave you courage to go over one last time?
Simple soldier boy, who grinned at life in empty joy, slept soundly through the lonesome dark, and whistled early with the lark. In winter trenches cowed and glum, with crumps and lice and lack of rum, he put a bullet through his brain. No one spoke of him again. You smug-faced crowds with kindling eye who cheer when soldier lads march by. Sneak home and pray you'll never know the hell where youth and laughter go.
If you start going through here, go start, right? You can end up having too many clients, so many people coming back and messages through here, and that's starting to get confused. Right? You can either send a runner back to me, so it all comes back through to me, unless it's a dire emergency. Right? Because they're getting messages from all sorts of sorts now, and they're hearing, and they're starting to get muddled self, muddled out. Mine is controlling my field, my own field net. You control your own field net, right?
At dawn, the ridge emerges massed and done, in the wild purple of the flowering sun, smouldering to the spouts of drifting smoke that shroud the menacing scarred slope, and one by one, tanks creep and topple forward to the wire. The barrage roars and lifts. Then clumsily bowed, with bombs and guns and shovels and battle gear, men jostle and climb to meet the bristling fire. Lines of grey muttering faces, masked with fear, they leave their trenches, going over the top, while time ticks blank and busy on their wrists, and hope, with furtive eyes and grappling fists, flounders in mud. Oh, Jesus, make it stop.
gained our first objective hours before, while dawn broke like a face with blinking eyes, pallid, unshaved and thirsty, blind with smoke. Things seemed all right at first. We held their line with bombers posted, Lewis guns well placed, and clink of shovels deepening the shallow trench. The place was rotten with dead, green, clumsy legs, high-booted, sprawled and grovelled along the saps, and trunks face downward in the sucking mud, wallowed like trodden sandbags loosely filled, and naked, sodden buttocks, mats of hair, bulged. Clotted heads slept in the plastering slime. And then the rain began, the jolly old rain. A yawning soldier knelt against the bank, staring across the morning air with fog. He wondered when the Alamans would get busy, and then, of course, they started with 5 knives, traversing, sure as fate, never a doubt. Mute in the clamour of shells, he watched them burst, spouting dark earth and wire, with gusts from hell, while posturing giants dissolved in drifts of smoke. He crouched, flinched, dizzy with galloping fear, sick for escape, loathing the strangled horror and butchered, frantic gestures of the dead. An officer came blundering down the trench. "Stand to and man the fire step!" On he went, gasping and bawling. "Fire step, counter-attack!" Then the haze lifted, bombing on the right, down the old sap. Machine guns on the left, and stumbling figures looming out in front. "Oh Christ, they're coming at us!" Bullet spat. He remembered his rifle. Rapid fire! And started blazing wildly. Then a bang, crumpled and spun him sideways, knocked him out, to grunt and wriggle. None heeded him. He choked and fought the flapping veils of smothering blue, lost in a blurred confusion of yells and groans. Down and down and down he sank and drowned, bleeding. The counterattack had failed.
Der Weltfrieden erhalten und in Frieden unsere kraftvolle Entwicklung fördern. Aber die Gegner neiden uns den Erfolg unserer Arbeit. Alle offenkundige und heimliche Feindschaften von Ost und West, von jenseits der See, haben wir bisher ertragen im Bewusstsein unserer Verantwortung und Kraft. Nun aber will man uns demütigen. Man verlangt, dass wir mit verschränkten Armen zusehen, wie unsere Feinde sich zu tückischem Überfall rüsten. Man will nicht dulden, dass wir in entschlossener Treue unserem Bundesgenossen stehen, der um sein Ansehen als Großmacht kämpft und mit dessen Erniedrigung unsere Macht und Ehre verloren ist. Es muss denn das Schwert entscheiden. Mitten im Frieden überfällt uns der Feind. Darum auf den Waffen, jedes Wanken, jedes Zögern der Verrat am Vaterland. Sein oder nicht sein unseres Reiches handelt es sich, dass unsere Väter sich neu gründeten. Sein oder nicht sein deutschen Macht und deutschen Wesen. Wir werden uns quälen bis zum letzten Haufen von Mann und Ross. Und wir werden diesen Kampf bestehen, auch gegen einen Weltfeind. Noch nie war Deutschland überwunden, wenn es einig war. Vorwärts mit Gott, der mit uns sein wird, wie er mit den
Sleep took him by the brow and laid him back, and in the happy no time of his sleeping, death took him by the heart. There was a quaking of the aborted life within him leaping, then chest and sleepy arms once more fell slack, and soon the slow, stray blood came creeping from the intrusive bed, like ants on track. Whether his deeper sleep lies shaded by the shaking of great wings, the thoughts that hung the stars, I pillowed on calm pillows of God's making, above these clouds, these rains, these sleeps of lead and these wind scimitars. Or whether yet his thin and solemn head confuses more and more with the low mould, his hair being one with the grey grass and finished fields of autumns that are old. Who knows? Who hopes? Who travels? Let it pass. He sleeps. He sleeps less tremulous, less cold than we who must awake, and waking say alas.
The plunging limbers over the shattered track, racketed with their rusty freight, stuck out like many crowns of thorns, and the rusty stakes like sceptres old to stay the flood of brutish men upon our brothers dear. The wheels lurched over sprawled dead, but pained them not, though their bones crunched, their shut mouths made no moan. They lie there huddled, friend and foeman, man born of man and born of woman, and shells go crying over them from night till night and now. Earth has waited for them, all the time of their growth, fretting for their decay. Now she has them at last, in the strength of their strength, suspended, stopped and held. What fierce imaginings their dark souls lit. Earth, have they gone into you? Somewhere they must have gone, and flung on your hard back is their soul's sack, emptied of God ancestral. Who hurled? None saw their spirit shadow shake the grass, or stood aside for the half-used life to pass out of those doomed nostrils and the doomed mouth, when the swift iron burning bee drained the wild honey of their youth. What of us, who, flung on the shrieking pyre, walk, our usual thoughts untouched, our lucky limbs as on ichor fed, immortal seeming ever? Perhaps when the flames beat loud on us, a fear may choke in our veins, and the startled blood may stop. The air is loud with death. The dark air spurts with fire. The explosions ceaseless are. Timelessly now, some minutes past, these dead strode time with vigorous life, till the shrapnel called an end. But not to all. In bleeding pangs, some born on stretchers dreamed of home, dear things, war-blotted on their hearts. Maniacer, howling and flying, your bowels seared by the jagged fire, the iron love, the impetuous storm of savage love. Dark earth, dark heavens, swinging in chemic smoke, what dead are born when you kiss each soundless soul with lightning and thunder from your mined heart, which man's self dug and his blind fingers loosed. A man's brains splattered on a stretcher-bearer's face. His shook shoulders slipped their load. But when they bent to look again, the drowning soul had sunk too deep for human tenderness. They left this dead with the older dead, stretched at the crossroads. Burnt black by strange decay, their sinister faces lie, the lid over each eye. The grass and coloured clay more motion have than they, joined to the great sunk silences. Here is one not long dead. His dark hearing caught our far wheels, and the choked soul stretched weak hands to reach the living word the far wheels said. The blood-dazed intelligence beating for light, crying through the suspense of the far torturing wheels, swift for the end to break or the wheels to break, cried as the tide of the world broke over his sight. Will they come? Will they ever come? Even as the mixed hoofs of the mules, the quivering bellied mules, and the rushing wheels, all mixed with his tortured upturned sight, so we crashed round the bend. We heard his last scream, we heard his very last sound, and our wheels grazed his dead friend.
Gladness by my side. Horse and plough I marched with pride of the purest kind, then a blink of light in its Flanders field, and the end of time. Through the flash and cannon's roar I saw my Christine's smiling eyes, and with no more thought of blood or shell, I made my way to hold her near. But truth and honour's henchmen found me leaving here, a madman's rave and a coward's grave, a volunteer. And in his eyes flew snipe and curlew, and in his nose blew moistened air, and in his mind the wood the king stole that robbed the land and laid it bare. But in his heart his lover's memory, stinging on their wedding night, where once the parks flowed thick with corn. That sullen tune was with him now, happed in mist, the king's own rifles, ready, aim, the floors of the forest are weed away.
Will you go to Flanders, my Mario? Will you go to Flanders, my Mario? There we'll get wine and brandy, sack and sugar candy. Will you go to Flanders, my Mario? Will you go to Flanders, my Mario? To see the bonny soldiers there, my Mario. They'll give us pipes to draw, boats or reed and kilts to plough.
I stood with the dead, so forsaken and still. When dawn was grey, I stood with the dead, and my slow heart said, "You must kill, soldier, soldier, it's red." On the shapes of the slain in their crumpled disgrace, I stared for a while through the thin cold rain. Oh lad that I love, there is rain on your face, and your eyes are blurred and sick like the pain. I stood with the dead, they were dead, they were dead. My heart and my head to march with dismay, and gusts of the wind came dulled by the guns. Fall in, I shouted, fall in for your pay.